So I started my story by saying I think we're all here for one reason, and that's to help one another. And I think that the biggest help that we can be to each other is to give each other solid advice. So every time I tell this story, I get the same response every time. And that advice to me is, yeah, you really should have locked your doors before you went to bed. So the year is 2006, and my boyfriend at the time, Mark, who is here tonight, he's my husband. He's a great guy. He's very gentle, very calm. He's a meditator, and I think that's why. And people who meet him, the first thing they always say to me is, he's so calm, he's so even keel. And he genuinely is, and I think that's because he does meditate. So he has a very devoted practice. He meditates in the morning and in the evening. And in the morning tends to be a little bit earlier than I prefer. He sits at the butt crack of dawn, and by butt crack, I mean 5 a.m. So on this particular summer morning, it was still dark outside, and he gets up to meditate. And our apartment at the time was only about 650 square feet. So it was very close quarters, and we were young and in love, and that's how we liked it. And he gets up and in the butt crack of dawn and goes to meditate. And I hear him fumbling around in our little walk-in closet. And I'm thinking, what is he doing? Okay, pause. It wasn't unlike Mark to sit in a closet, whether that be a hotel or someone else's house. He would just find a closet where it was dark and quiet, and he would go and meditate there. So that's what I thought he was doing on this particular morning. And I'm getting annoyed because he's just making far too much noise for me. I'm a light sleeper. And as I prop myself up on my elbows and I look over into the closet to tell him to shut the hell up, I look over and I notice that Mark has a dress on. And I think, oh my God, he's sleepwalking. This is great. I got to get the camera. And I look over to this direction, and he's got a dress on, and, I have to do this, clear my eyes, and I look over again, and Mark's hair had grown at least 13 inches. And I'm thinking, I must be dreaming. So I'm just kind of feeling over here, not looking. I feel a hip. Then I feel a shoulder, and it dawns on me that Mark is in the bed beside me. And I look over, and the hair goes like this. And I shake Mark vigorously. And he says, What? And I'm thinking, that's how I feel when you're meditating every morning. And he said, what is it? And I can't speak. You know those nightmares you have where you're screaming at the top of your lungs, but all you can get out is, That's exactly what it was like. So I'm shaking him, and he looks over at me and says, what? And all I can do is point. And he looks around me, and the only time I've ever heard him raise his voice was this morning. And he says, who is that? And I said, now it gets a little bit louder. He said, who is that? And I said, I don't know. So he yells, you've got to leave now. And this young shadow emerges from the closet, and she bends over our bed, and I smell schnapps. And she said, I'm sorry, I'm just looking for the bathroom. And I don't know what Mark was thinking at that moment, but I was thinking, oh, for God's sakes, get this woman to a bathroom. So I said, it's down the hall to the left. So she leaves in a hurry, the light goes on, the door closes. And you have never seen two people fly out of their bed quicker than on this morning, unless, for me, the bed's on fire. So we get our bathrobes on, and we go into the living room to have a family meeting. And all we can do is just kind of look at each other blankly like, what are we going to do? So just then, the toilet flushes, the light goes off, and she comes out. And I noticed she has a nice dress on, beautiful long hair. She looks to be about 20 years old. She was out at the clubs, I think. And she walks out and she said, "I am so sorry, but Carolyn said that I could sleep here tonight." And I look at her and I say, "I'm not Carolyn, and I'm pretty sure he's not either." And she said, "Oh, oh. Yeah, so I'm sorry, you've got to leave. You have to leave." So as Mark is looking for a bus schedule, because this is long before Lyft, I'm looking around for her shoes because her feet are naked and they're black. They're really, really black. So she'd been without shoes for quite some time. So we're both scouring my 650-foot apartment, and neither one of us can find her shoes. So I feel so bad to tell her, "You've got to leave. You've got to get on a bus without your shoes." So she says, "Thank you, I'm so sorry, we're feeling guilty." She leaves, and I think, I'm not a silver lining kind of gal. I'm more of it could have been so much worse. She's lucky because we weren't dangerous. We're lucky because she wasn't dangerous. I feel so lucky because she didn't barf on our couch. And I also feel so lucky because she didn't pee in our closet. Had she done that and peed on my shoes, I'm pretty sure she would have had a pair of shoes to walk home in that day. Thank you.